Folks, welcome to Movie News Monday, where every single Monday live on Twitch, we talk about the world of entertainment and everything you need to know. If you can't catch us live, don't worry about it. We always post on YouTube, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And folks, let's just get into it because nobody would have expected this, but once again, for about the 17th time, Warner Brothers is up for sale. So, for those of you who don't know, Warner Brothers is one of the oldest establishments in Hollywood. They are one of the pillars of the entertainment industry. They've been around for over 100 years, and now here we are following a failed merger with Time Warner, with AT&T, with Discovery, which is the newest one. Discovery had announced that Warner Brothers and Discovery will be splitting up, and looks like Paramount Skydance, which, if you've been keeping track, is a new company. Skydance did just finish acquiring Paramount, last month? It looks like they are trying to go in on buying Warner Brothers, which is crazy for me. I mean, yeah, I see chat trying to conspire to throw their hat in the ring, but this is insane to me on so many levels. First and foremost, Warner Brothers has had the best year at the box office so far. Let me list off a couple Warner Brothers bangers for you. Sinners, Weapons, Superman. Warner Brothers is doing great this year. They have plenty of films that are doing great in the box office, plenty of films that are doing great at the, critically. Warner Brothers also is doing relatively well on the streaming end with HBO Max. Shows like The Penguin, that's winning Emmys. Shows like The Last of Us, which is winning audiences. Warner Brothers, by all accounts, is doing okay, except for the fact that as a company, it's just been bleeding money for forever. Warner Brothers is just way too big for its own good. So that being said, recently Skydance, which is a global entertainment company, finished their acquisition of Paramount CBS, and it looks like they're hungry for a little bit more. So they are putting their hat in the ring to try and purchase Warner Brothers when the split with Discovery goes into effect later next year. This is coming out now because Paramount is trying to sneakily slide in a bid before the unmerger goes through with Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount Skydance is nervous that Amazon will try and sneak in there, that Apple will try and sneak in there. Frankly, it could be anyone who comes in with a very valuable bid to buy Warner Brothers out of the decades worth of failed acquisitions, failed mergers, failed partnerships. That being said, Warner Brothers is doing well, all things considered. So this might be the first time in a while where they might actually have some legs to stand on for remaining an independent company. That being said, too, David Zaslav is the CEO that was put in place from Discovery, and with the Discovery breakup, David Zaslav will be staying in charge of the Warner Brothers arm, and it would not surprise me to see him be open to a sale. So what do you think? Is another major monopoly style takeover gonna be good for the entertainment industry? Objection, leading the witness. Haha, got him. I don't know. This is just insane to me, folks. This is just insane to me. Frankly, I do think that this is dangerous if we keep reducing the total number of players. It is especially dangerous because the irony is not lost on me that the Paramount decision back in the 1930s, 40s, the Paramount decision was what made it illegal for studios to also own movie theaters. So, or the producers to also own the means of distribution. But now in the streaming era, that is just so diluted and so different. And when you talk about companies like Paramount that has their streaming service, and HBO, Warner Brothers, which has its streaming service, and Apple TV and Amazon trying to get in the mix, like, it looks like everybody's just battling for content for their content libraries. And it really makes me nervous for what's going to happen for the future of entertainment. I mean, Skydance just laid off hundreds of people at Paramount following that acquisition. There's hundreds of people in the entertainment industry who no longer have jobs anymore. What's going to happen if they buy Warner Brothers, right? Like, what is all this consolidation going to do? It is not easy to get a new studio up and running, and even the independent market is starting to get a little bit monopolized by a couple of big players. So this is really, really interesting times for the entertainment business arms. And, I'm just curious to know who's got the rights for the Monopoly movie, because it might be a biopic at this point. It might be autobiographical. Last week on Movie News Monday, we talked about a large amount of filmmakers that signed a letter saying that they will be boycotting the Israeli Film Commission or any sort of Israeli film institution that is complicit in the genocide going on in Gaza. When we initially talked about it last week, it was around 1,200 names. That has now grown to nearly 4,000 artists that have signed this boycott, this boycott letter that they've done. And Paramount comes out condemning the move. Paramount Pictures says, "We believe in the power of storytelling to connect and inspire people, promote mutual understanding, and preserve the moments, ideas, and events that shape the world we share. This is our creative mission." Frankly, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna put on my villain hat here for a second, my devil's advocate tinfoil hat, whatever you want to call it. Like, it is not lost in me that Paramount, and specifically Skydance, is doing a lot to bend the knee towards the current administration. The firing and the settlement of CBS News lawsuit with the Trump administration, the firing of Stephen Colbert, the different politically minded moves that they have done to, carry good favor with the administration so that their merger could go through. Now we have artists taking a stand and, using their voice to say, hey, we're not happy being complicit in what's happening, and the least we can do is just say we're not going to collaborate with people that won't acknowledge the atrocities that are happening in this world. For Paramount Pictures to come out when there's talks of them doing another major merger that would have to be approved by Donald Trump's FTC, I'm not surprised to see them come out against this. The original list of 1,200 names has now grown to 3,900 signees. People like Andrew Garfield, Harris Dickinson, Ebon Moss-Baccarat, Eric Andre, Elliot Page, Emma Darcy, on and on and on and on. So all of that to say, folks, look, no matter how big or small your platform is, it is free to stand up for what's good in the world. And, nobody deserves hate. Nobody deserves harm. Nobody deserves to lose their lives because of somebody else's agendas. So I don't think it is a hot take to say that people do not deserve to be going through a genocide. Wow. Ooh. Whoa. I'll expect my medal in the mail. Jesus. All of that to say, I'm not surprised to see Paramount Pictures here kind of bend towards the angle of certain government figures that hold a lot of power, and much respect to the artists and the filmmakers who are taking a stand and saying, hey, we're not going to stand for this. That's, I feel like, the least that you can do. And look, at the end of the day, if there's one person out there who goes, maybe this makes me reconsider how I look at everything that's going on, that's progress. So cheers to them. I hope to see that industry names list be a little bit higher next time we check in on this story. Now, this is some news that I'm super excited about. We've talked a lot about the current state of the entertainment industry and being nervous about original ideas, being nervous about studio consolidations and all this stuff that's going on. But what's really exciting right now is that we have a fresh set of young voices coming into the entertainment industry that are specifically coming from the online space that I am super excited about. So today we're talking about Curry Barker, who is half of a social media online content creator duo. I believe it's called That's a Bad Idea. I've actually been very familiar with their sketches for a while now. I think they're absolutely hilarious. Great production quality, great scripting, great content altogether. But as it seems to be the case, the funniest folks are also the scariest folks, because Curry Barker created a feature film a couple years ago. That feature film, Milk and Cereal, was done on basically $800. And now he has created another film called Obsession, which premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival. And after a very successful bidding war with A24, with Neon, Focus Features has purchased the rights to Obsession and will be premiering Barker's film to a global audience. The deal was allegedly close to the $15 million range. So for making a movie for a little under $1 million, hey, good job. You've already turned a profit. So anything that happens at the box office is even better. But this is just great to see. One, it's great to see more comedic voices enter the horror space. I think that's such an interesting pipeline for filmmakers, and hopefully that opens the door for so much more creativity and different types of stories being told there. I do feel as though the horror genre is doing almost what like superhero movies did a while back, where it was like, okay, we can't just be superhero movie, right? We can't just be horror movie. We need to have something else going on. So it's fun to see how some comedic filmmakers are coming into that space and jazzing it up a fair bit. People like Jordan Peele, people like Zach Kreger. And on the other hand, too, it is super exciting to see the continued trend of creators entering the traditional Hollywood media space. I would say not all creators get into it so that they could transition into traditional Hollywood media, but we have seen a lot of success with it, especially in the realm of horror. I think about people like the Rocka twins who are doing, Talk to Me and Bring Her Back. I think about film reviewers like Chris Stuckman, who have movies like Shelby Oaks coming out, the Backrooms movies coming out, and now this. So super exciting to see. All props to Curry here. I look forward to seeing this movie when it premieres on a wide release. If anyone in their mid to late 20s just got slapped in the face with nostalgia, Rudy here was a super successful Vine star back in the day. Rudy was big for doing sketch comedy, situational comedy, as well as musical comedy. And Rudy has been tapped to direct a Disney feature comedy, Bob the Musical. It's not an insanely original premise here. Bob the Musical has been floated around the studio for about a decade, and it essentially follows somebody who is trapped in a musical. So, there's been millions of sketches and millions of different interpretations of that joke before, of what if you were self-aware that you were in a musical. I think about, there was actually a TV show recently, I believe it ran for 2 seasons, that had the same concept. Let me see if I can remember. Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. That was the other one I was thinking of. So shows like Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, which ran for 2 seasons a couple years ago, followed a similar premise. I know that Rudy has a decent relationship with Disney. He did show up in the Hollywood Bowl live performance of Coco a few years ago. He is an insanely talented musician, and he was hugely successful on Vine. So to see him transition to directing a feature comedy, very excited to see how this will go. Will this get a wide release? Will this be straight to streaming? I have no idea. It's Disney, so we really, if we really could go either way. But yeah, blast from the past, man. I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see Rudy out here. He kind of got in with like some of those Vine stars that I wasn't super into back in the day. But in either case, you know, love to see more creators breaking into the big roles behind the scenes of the traditional Hollywood industry. Yes, there's people like Addison Rae who get put in front of the camera. There's the Paul brothers, right? They get put in front of the camera, and that makes sense. I think that pipeline is a little bit clearer, but to go from creator to director or writer or producer, that's a bigger jump, and it's, for me, a lot more exciting to see. But what do you think? Is there a creator that you are looking forward to making that next jump to Hollywood? If you could give any YouTuber, TikToker, Instagram Reelser, what do we call them? If you could give any of them a movie, who would it be and why? I would love to know. You know what? Michelle Khare. Give Michelle Khare like a full documentary movie or like a full narrative movie. Hell, Michelle Khare could probably do like a sick ass action movie. She's a black belt. She's a trained stunt professional. She's basically Harry Houdini. I'm going to say Michelle Khare. Give her like a crazy action movie. I think she would absolutely kill it. Yeah, you know what? Make Michelle Khare the next Ethan Hunt. Reboot the Mission Impossible franchise with Michelle Khare. Guys, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle was the largest film at the box office this weekend. And it is not just that, it is the largest international film in the US, opening with $70 million. This is also the biggest opening weekend for an R-rated animated film. Folks, I am not a Demon Slayer fan, and not for lack of trying on my sibling's part, who has been begging me for years to watch this anime. But this film, as I have come to understand very recently, it's not even just a standalone movie. This is a continuation of the anime series. So for it to have not just the biggest opening weekend this weekend, up against movies like The Long Walk, up against, you know, movies like Weapons that have been in theaters for a little while, but to have one of the biggest openings for a movie in its category is absolutely insane. I think, given the success of this and given the success of things like K-pop Demon Hunters, I am hoping that the lesson here for Hollywood is, hey, there's actually some interest in these type of stories and this type of style, and maybe we should consider giving larger budgets to animated releases and not just letting them die on streaming. I don't think it's a one-for-one, because we did also have Neza 2 come to the States, and it did not perform at all compared to what happened in China, where it is the biggest movie of all time there. So I don't think the lesson is specifically foreign animated movies coming here is a guaranteed win, because we're seeing that not be the case. I think it's specifically original animated movies, whether with or without an established fan base, have the potential to do well if you're investing in a good story, investing in good animation, and giving people product that they want to see. So will this mean more animated movies going to theaters? More sequels? I don't know. I truly don't. I worry that this might be the wrong lesson for some folks, and they might just start making raunchy R-rated animated movies. But in either case, congratulations to Demon Slayer for slaying the box office, and I'm very curious to see where things will go from here. Will this mean that some studios will be a little bit braver, and rather than selling the distribution rights to a streamer like Netflix or Amazon, that they would spend a little bit extra to take the movie overseas in the theaters. I hope so. I think that would be much better for most people. This is not really a lot of story here. I just thought this was hilarious. Universal boss Donna Langley says it was a bad idea to send the Fast and Furious franchise into space. I'm sorry that we did that. And I just wanted to put a microphone to that apology and say, Donna, I don't know that we forgive you, but we hear you. Thank you for your apology. Will we ever see the actual conclusion of the Fast and Furious franchise? Will Fast 10 Part 2, aka Fast 11, actually come out? I don't know, and I don't think people care. I don't think people care. They literally put a car in space. The follow-up quote was, "We can never get that genie back." Yep. The problem was we didn't leave him up in space. This is disappointing news. One, if you're a fan of 80s movies getting a updated remake, or if you're a fan of Henry Cavill, which I know a lot of us all, Henry Cavill's Highlander is getting pushed to shoot next year. They were slated to go into production this month, but Henry had an injury on set, or had an injury during pre-production. It is unsure to what extent his injury was, or what happened, if it was, during stunt training or if it was during exercising. But unfortunately, the entire film's production is being pushed back. Poor Henry Cavill, man. He has been really just getting dragged through it by Hollywood. I think it started with Tom Cruise breaking his ankle and delaying Mission Impossible Fallout, which bled into Justice League and the Justice League reshoots, which bled into The Witcher, which bled into Black Adam and him being bullied by Dwayne Johnson to come back to Superman, which bled into James Gunn and Peter Safran taking over DC Studios and choosing to restart Superman. Henry Cavill does have some good stuff in the works. Obviously, this Highlander reboot that they're working on, as well as the Warhammer series that Henry Cavill is developing over at Amazon. Hoping him a speedy recovery. Everything I've seen about Henry Cavill, he looks like an absolutely gem of a human being. I really thought he was a fantastic Superman, albeit for the little bits of time that he was really allowed to be full Superman. And he was incredible in Mission Impossible Fallout. I think he might be one of the best villains of that franchise. So hoping him a speedy recovery, hoping that this delay of filming doesn't create another CGI mustache situation for anybody involved with that production. Marlon Wayans is doing the press runs for the Jordan Peele Monkey Paws production movie Him, which looks absolutely insane. I'm actually, every trailer I see, I actually get more excited about it, and I think I'm going to stop watching trailers because I really just want to be surprised when I go to see this movie. But Marlon Wayans talks about Scary Movie 6 and coming back for it. Marlon Wayans, of course, part of the Wayans brothers crew and one of the leads in the Scary Movie franchise as the character Shorty. Marlon Wayans talks about his transformation, his physical transformation. You can see him here in Him. He really bulked up for the role of playing this legendary football trainer. He is working on losing all of the weight that he just put on so that he can really look like Shorty. He's lost 20 pounds so far, but he's saying Shorty can't, show up at 225 pounds. So that's got to be a tough transition. I know he said that'd be lazy of me. I want to do the work. I want to look like Shorty. So, hey, shouts out to Marlon Wayans for being an actual actor out here. I know that there's a lot of effort to going into transforming your body for a role. It can be a scary thing, an intimidating thing, and hopefully he's doing it in a healthy way being supervised by some nutritionists or personal trainers. That being said, we did also get an update to one of the things that they're championing for with the new Scary Movie. This Scary Movie 6 is going to bring back the entire Wayans brothers crew. They're all going to be writing on the movie together, which they haven't done in, I believe, like 18 years since they last worked on a movie together. And, you know, Marlon Wayans is somebody who really understands the world of comedy. And even though he hasn't been at the forefront of it the way that he used to be, I think that it's very important to hear what he has to say in regards to the state of comedy. He promises that Scary Movie 6 will be a no-holds-barred and equal opportunity offender. And before you get too scared, let's hear the rest of this quote. It's how we always do it. We just want to make sure everybody's laughing. We don't care if you're sensitive. Even sensitive people need to laugh at themselves. Just know that we're not just laughing at you. You get the chance to laugh at others. When we did White Chicks, we made fun of everybody. That's just what we do. We make fun of the world. Make light of the world. It's not to harm, it's to bring humor. You may offend people here and there, but hey, not every joke's gonna land 100%. But if you tell a joke and 100 people laugh and one person walks out, that's still a good joke. So I do think that there's a lot to say here. There's been a lot of comedians, and granted, I'll even, stake my claim here and say, I think there's a lot of comedians who are not as successful or as funny these days, saying that comedy has become too difficult, that people are too sensitive, that you're not able to make jokes anymore. Frankly, I think everybody who's walking around saying that maybe just isn't funny in the way that they thought they were. Because you have every ability to be humorous and still bring laughter and joy to people without punching down and without really just beating a dead horse over and over again. The state of comedy has been really interesting over the years. There was a while where the low budget comedy was dominating in Hollywood, but ever since the streaming era, it just became harder and harder to justify theatrical comedies. But we are seeing a return to that. We are getting very successful and very well-meaning straight to streaming comedies that I think are still carrying along the torch as well as they could. But I even think of movies like One of Them Days that came out this year that was just an honest to God straightforward comedy that performed fairly well and was greenlit for a sequel. And now we have Scary Movie 6 coming. And guys, it just feels good to laugh in the movie theater. I mean, even a movie like Weapons, which is categorized as a horror, is one of the funniest movies I've seen in theaters over a while. And to be in a group of people and let out a laugh together, and maybe not every single joke hits, but the ones that do make you have a response, like, that's great. So I'm really optimistic for the Marlon or the Wayans brothers interpretation of how they're going to satirize the current state of the film industry. I do think that the satirical comedies just really lost the plot, so I'm hoping that their voice coming back into this is exactly what we need. Another story here that I don't know that there's much to say other than, yeah, I get it. James Cameron says he is struggling to write Terminator 7. There really been 7 of these? I've been unable to get very far on that. I don't know what to say that won't be overtaken by real events. We are living in a science fiction age right now. Fair, Jim. That's fair. Look, jokes aside, reality aside, Terminator 7? Yikes, guys, we peaked at 2. We can put it to bed. It's okay. We don't need to... Nobody in 2009 wanted to go to a movie about, a family that got their home foreclosed on, right? Like, nobody in 2021 wanted to go to a movie theater and watch a movie about a deadly disease or a bottle movie where people get locked in a room, right? Right now, we don't want to be watching a movie about AI going bad and coming after us. So all that to say too, I think the Terminator franchise is one that I'm okay putting. And so, James, don't even worry about it. Just keep your eyes on the ball with Avatar. I would love to get you working on the next 2-3 Avatars, and then you can retire and take it easy, man. You don't need to do Terminator 7. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. Super Mario Galaxy is officially the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it is coming next year. This is awesome. They must have started working on this movie right away. But this is exciting. We have an official reveal for the next phase of the Super Mario Brothers film franchise. Did Chris Pratt run out of money? Probably not. Although let me circle back to that. Chris Pratt is returning along with Charlie Day, playing Mario and Luigi respectively. Anya Taylor-Joy will return to voice Princess Peach, and we can expect all the usual suspects to come back. Eagle Michael Key as Toad, and I imagine Jack Black as Bowser. No details about the plot yet. We just know that Mario will be going to space in some way, shape, or form. Very curious on my end, as somebody who watched a lot of game theory and watched a lot of theory type content about the lore of the Marvel Universe. The original Super Mario Brothers movie did canonize some stuff about the Super Mario Brothers, right? That they are from the real world, and the Mushroom Kingdom is another dimension they get brought into. There is lore regarding Princess Rosalina and who her father is, and there are some pretty credible theories about Luigi being her dad, which are actually super fascinating, of maybe there being an alternate reality where Luigi and Peach have a child, or Luigi and Daisy. She looks just like Princess Peach, so who knows? I wonder if any of that will be canonized. Probably not, but it would be hilarious. I'm very excited. I do think that the Super Mario Brothers movie was extremely charming, and folks, let's not act like it didn't open the door for Nintendo to be more comfortable with licensing out their properties. Because of that movie's success, we will be getting a live-action Legend of Zelda movie. There are more and more Pokemon movies coming out left and right, or Pokemon TV shows and streaming series and everything like that. So this is a good sign for video game adaptations. And if you watched my video the other day, or caught my stream the other day, video game adaptations are the next phase of Hollywood, I will tell you pretty confidently. Will this mean a Super Mario Galaxy sequel, or Super Mario Galaxy sort of refresh video game coming to the Switch 2? Probably. I would say that's a safe bet. In either case, I will be excited to see this. Folks, as the champion of the Penguin fan club here, I'm just so happy to say that Kristen Milioti did, in fact, win an Emmy last night for the Penguin. And she was so happy about it, and it was so sweet. And I really just wanted to highlight the ending of her speech, which was just so awesome, and like the type of genuine cheer that you don't get to see often in these sort of award shows.
Okay, I want to thank you so much. I love you, and I love acting so much.
So sweet, so sweet. It just warmed my heart so much to see that. Like, I feel like there's so much in these award ceremonies about, like, the race, and there's so much about the politics of award shows and the campaigning and everything like that. But just to see somebody have genuine love and passion for their craft, and just to say so loudly, I love acting so much, and you could just really see it in her face. And that woo there is just so genuine. I felt that, like, everything that I've ever loved in my life, I have done that exact same woo yell. And so congrats to Kristen. Hopefully the first of many, many incredible awards to come your way. And I hope that we get to see her portray Sophia someday soon. Where that will be, I don't know, because we're going to circle back to that here in a minute, because I do have some Batman news to cover if you've been paying attention to my tabs up here at the top. Another thing about the Emmys that I did want to highlight, Dan Gilroy wins Outstanding Writing for Drama Series for Andor, and the specific episode that won was the episode where Mon Mothma addresses the Senate and talks about truth and talks about how fascism grows in the lies and the truth dies in silence. It is an incredible episode and an incredible speech, and it is really just worth taking another look at given the current state of the world. And Dan Gilroy winning an award for it is incredible. Also, he gave a shout out to his family. Dan Gilroy was a writer on this. Tony Gilroy was the showrunner, and their third brother, the third Gilroy, who I'm sorry I don't know your name, worked on post-production on Andor. So it was a family affair, which is great. And last but not least, the last takeaway for the Emmys that I really wanted to talk about, the studio makes history as the most awarded comedy ever in a single year. And given how much there has been over the years regarding the Emmys and their categorization, and even with the Golden Globes as well, I'm going to say specifically in regards to The Bear and how The Bear has really made a lot of noise in what counts as a comedy and what counts as a drama. I do think that the last couple seasons of The Bear were not as strong as the other seasons, but all that being said, it to me is not a comedy. It is a drama that is funny, which is something that you are totally allowed to be. But the studio is 100% through and through a comedy. It is an incredible comedy. It is a love letter to Hollywood, and it is a great examination of ego and insecurity and privilege and so many other different things. This show deserves every single bit of recognition it earned, and I am seriously looking forward to whatever it is they do next, because it is unlike any other show airing in television right now. The most prestigious award of the night, which is Best Drama Series, did end up going to The Pitt. Shout out The Pitt. I've said it a million times. I will stake my reputation on it. Watch that show, and if you don't like it, I will watch whatever it is you tell me to watch. I will stand by that. Let's jump over to the DCU here and talk about Batman. Matt Reeves was at the Emmys walking the red carpet because the Penguin was nominated, and he did give a handful of updates regarding the Batman 2. He says it will take Batman's character in an unexpected direction. The things that this film does for his character, for Batman and Bruce, I think it has never been done before in this way. Please be Robin. Please be Robin. Look, I know this is my hot take. I know some people have told me I'm insane for this. I think Robert Pattinson's Batman needs a Robin. I think that is the exact path that Part 1 was setting us up for. And I think it has never been done before in this way. Robin has never been a boy, a teenager, or a young boy in the movies. It could work. Matt Reeves also says Batman Part 2 will reach farther than the first movie. It's been a long journey. I'm so incredibly excited. Really proud of the script Matt Tomlin and I did. Robert is super excited. I feel really excited about the idea that we feel we are going to reach farther and do even more than we did in the first one, which I think is great. I do think that the Batman Part 1 was an incredible movie, and on a rewatch, it is a relatively small scale movie given how much it's focused on like the unraveling of this mystery, which I did enjoy it as a detective noir style movie, but that did kind of limit the scope. I am curious to see how they will expand upon that and how much farther they will be able to take it. And last but not least, the most disappointing news regarding Batman Part 2 is that Kristen Milioti will not return as Sophia Falcone in the Batman Part 2. Now, the reason for this, it's just the script was being finalized and written while the Penguin was in production. They didn't know. They just didn't know she was going to be as incredible as she was. They didn't know that it was going to be as impactful of a performance and as successful of a hit as it was. I'm okay with this. I'm okay if they take their time to do justice to her character, whether it be in her own spin-off, whether it be in a Catwoman sequel or a Penguin Part 2, whatever it may be. I will be very excited to see her come back as Sophia Falcone. It is a shame that it won't be in Batman Part 2, but hey, it just means there's a chance later down the road. And last but not least, folks, let's get into our Marvel news of the day. Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon were spotted together on the set of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, I don't know who these lovely people are who took a picture with our leading crew here, but man, did they give us so much to look at and specifically not look at. So first of all, here's Tom Holland in that incredible Spider-Man suit, which we love so much. The colors are great, the design is great, the webbing, the spider, everything about it. Chef's kiss. I love it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Spider-Man. I'm excited to see more of it. Jacob Batalon in an MIT shirt. So he is in character as Ned Leeds, if I am to, draw some conclusions here. He's got the hair. He's got the glasses. He's got the look. So I'm pretty sure this is pretty confidently confirming that Ned is back. Now, how do we notice Zendaya here with a hoodie all the way up, hiding every inch of hair on her head? Look, the hoodie's not completely out of character for MJ or Michelle Jones-Watson, as we have come to learn of her character, but not seeing any of her hair makes me think that we probably have a red-headed MJ, which would be exciting. There's that picture. I was scrolling here on the replies to see if someone had posted it. But she did this press tour where she had the red hair, and if she did not look exactly like comic book Mary Jane Watson with the red hair like this. So it would be very fun and interesting to have MJ come back from her first year at MIT or second year. We don't know how much of a time skip there's going to be to have her come back looking like MJ, but who knows? Who knows? In either case, super exciting to see the crew back together. So for this next bit of news, this might be Doomsday leak material. So if you want to go into Avengers Doomsday blind without knowing anything, I would say go ahead and skip this next segment. That being said, I don't think this is anything we wouldn't see with the first poster, the first teaser, the first anything. But Disney is having a marketing conference in Shanghai, and with that, we have gotten our first look at Doctor Doom via some signage that they had outside. Some folks went through and rezzed up the image, and then someone else went through and really cleaned it up a bit more. So this is, albeit relatively official, our first look at Doctor Doom in the MCU. He looks like Doctor Doom. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's got the look. I'm excited to see what his character is. I'm still conflicted about it being Robert Downey Jr., but I have faith that they've really put some thought into how it will all come together. We did also get, I believe we did also get an official Avengers Doomsday description or summary. Let's see. Yes, we do have an official Avengers Doomsday synopsis now to go alongside that logo that we got, which is right here. Doctor Doom has officially arrived on the Marvel Cinematic Universe stage. This villain, a master of cutting-edge science and powerful magic, will unleash a cascading crisis across the multiverse. Marvel's most iconic character, Robert Downey Jr., also returns as Doctor Doom. So that's all we know. I mean, it's nothing outside of what we would have already guessed, but hey, at least we got it in writing. And folks, that's going to be it for today. If you ever want to catch Movie News Monday live, we stream live on twitch.tv/JupyGorg every single Monday, so make sure you stop by. If you don't want to stop by live, you're missing out. You could be in chat. You could be reacting. You could be driving the way this conversation goes. But if you can't make it out to Twitch, no worries. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can watch all of our videos that go up. We don't just do Movie News Monday. We also do breakdowns, reviews. We hang out. We have a great time. So make sure you subscribe so you catch everything. If you like the short form content better, you can follow over on TikTok and Instagram. I also post when I go live over in those platforms, so make sure you're following there. And folks, that's going to be it for me today. So thank you once again for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I will catch you at the movies. Take it easy, y'all. Bye-bye.